the honesty and integrity of leaders. Believing in Mormonism requires significant investment of time, energy, and resources. Members are asked to pay tithing, serve in callings, dedicate their time to church activities, and make sacrifices of time with family and loved ones, all in the hope that the religion is true. However, what if it isn't? What if these men lack the integrity and character to make it reasonable to believe their word, their teachings, their testimony? The history of Mormonism is riddled with examples of deception, obfuscation, dishonesty, and flat-out lying on the part of its leaders. Despite claims of transparency and integrity, evidence deeply suggests otherwise. We list here only a few examples, but there are many. The church denied and lied about the 1886 revelation of John Taylor, where he saw Christ and was told plural marriage would never be taken from the earth, all because it didn't mesh with the new direction the church had taken with the 1890 manifesto. Or where in the Doctrine and Covenants it stated Oliver's gift of working with the sprout or rod, but such was changed to the gift of Aaron, to obfuscate that the Dan C section was praising Cowdery's occultic practice of using a divining rod. The church has tried to keep secret the existence of the Strengthening Church Members Committee, or SCMC, which spies on members, infiltrating social media groups under false pretenses, or the Second Anointing, a super-secret special ordinance reserved for only a select few of the church's most wealthiest and most connected members, and is forbidden to be discussed or questioned. Or in 1984, when, after 70 Ronald Pullman had delivered his General Conference talk, the church's leaders insisted on a re-recorded, revised version that completely rewrote the meaning and swapped it for the original, even adding a cough track to fool members into thinking it was the original talk, or recognizing that prior to the release of the gospel topic essays regarding polygamy, the church had never officially taught that its founder was a polygamist, not to mention the details of underage girls and already married women, or pushing a narrative of Joseph Smith using the Nephite spectacles for translation rather than informing people about his use of a seer stone obtained from his treasure-digging practices while having the seer stone in their possession, seemingly in an effort to avoid discussing in depth Joseph Smith's treasure digging. Or when Joseph Fielding Smith is asked if Mormons believe the Negro race to be inferior, he answers, "Mormons have no animosity towards the Negro. Neither have they described him as belonging to an inferior race, knowing full well that church doctrine at the time imposed that they Negroes were cursed and less valiant in the premortal world." Always speaking of the church, not being a wealthy church, when it had billions of dollars hidden from members and imposing that the ministry was a lay ministry that was unpaid or only received a small stipend, when in fact they make a six-figure salary and have all the perks and benefits one can imagine, or when they were caught by the Securities and Exchange Commission directing their investment arm to unethically act, to hide $38 billion in the U.S. stock market and over $165 billion invested worldwide, all because they feared tithing might go down if members knew just how much they had. How about Elder Oaks, denying that electroshock therapy started under his watch at BYU and misleading the audience about the timeline, and then when caught and questioned, avoiding being accountable to respond? Or when Joseph Fielding Smith, as church historian, discovered the early 1832 First Vision account in the historical documents, and considering it a strange account, cut it out of Joseph Smith's personal journal and stored it away in the church historian's vault until he was forced to bring it out to the public when he had gotten caught hiding it. Or when Elder Holland was asked about the church's contribution to Prop 8 and says that the church did not give 1 red cent to the fight against same-sex marriage in California, knowing the church had secretly been a major contributor to its lobbying efforts. Or the subtle shift from special witnesses of Christ to being special witnesses of the name of Christ, with veiled references to having seen Christ or seen his face or knowing his voice, when they are also on the record admitting they have never seen Christ or angelic messengers. Or how the church obfuscates its history, such as repeatedly telling the story of how Elizabeth Rawlings Lightner saved the Book of Commandments, but never getting around to telling you that your founding prophet, Joseph Smith, approached Mary when she was 12 years old to be his plural wife, and that she, in fact, later became a plural wife of your founding prophet, Joseph Smith. That Wilford Woodruff lied with the 1890 Manifesto, as the church simply went underground with the practice and continued to authorize polygamous marriages even after the 1904 Second Manifesto. That the church removed Boyd K. Packer's Little Factory Talk from the General Conference repository as if it never existed. These examples, among countless others, underscore the importance of critically evaluating the claims and actions of LDS leaders. Blind trust in authority, without scrutiny, can lead to manipulation and deception. As individuals grapple with questions of faith and belief, it is essential to seek truth with an open mind and a discerning spirit, rather than relying solely on the assurances of those in positions of power. Ultimately, the path to understanding and enlightenment requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths, even when they challenge deeply held beliefs.